I welcome you to this adult education / senior university session, Federal Government Resources to Start, Grow, and Expand a Small Business. Lindsay Maliqi is going to be our instructor / presenter today. And again, my name is Amanda. I'm going to be your moderator. Lindsay joined the U.S. Small Business Administration in 2019, having previously served in various economic and community development capacities at home and abroad. At the SBA, Lindsay is part of a team helping Indiana small businesses and entrepreneurs to start, grow, and expand and recover. She enjoys spending her free time outdoors with her husband. And we are very glad to have Lindsay with us today. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thanks for having me. I'm Lindsay Maliqi with the Small Business Administration. I'm in the Indiana District Office, which covers the entire state of Indiana out of one Indianapolis office, but we cover the whole state. So I am one of about 10 team members here in the district office, and we do a lot of marketing and outreach for SBA, just trying to reach those entrepreneurial audiences. And so I'm just here to give an overview of the SBA. It's been a while since we've been up in Northwest Indiana or anywhere really. We're still working from our living rooms and dining rooms, but happy to be here with you this evening. Before we get into the SBA content, I have a very important question for the audience, and it's not exactly small business related, but Northwest Indiana related. Do we have any troopers or trooper fans in the audience today? All right, well, you know, I'm from here in the central Indiana area. I was born and raised here, but my dad was a trooper for Wirt High School on the basketball team many moons ago, but grew up a couple blocks from the beach in Miller. And so I'm always happy to have an opportunity to chat with folks from Northwest Indiana. But okay, so maybe a more relevant question that you can put in the chat. So you're here today to hear about federal government resources for small businesses. Put in the chat if you can, if you are looking to start a business, grow a business, or what is your interest or affiliation in the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Northwest Indiana?
We've got someone who says they're here to start a business.
Woohoo!
Another person is interested in growing a business.
Great.
Got a few more folks who are also interested in starting. It's like 1, 2, 3 so far, saying 3 to start. Oh, maybe 4. Someone also interested in contracting.
Okay, well, good. I hope that I'm able to cover topics that will appeal to all 3 of those audiences, because I am going to cover resources to start a business, to grow a business, and on the contracting side. So thank you all so much for being here and for your participation there in the chat. So really, I think better than a stagnant PowerPoint presentation is to take you to a live view of the SBA.gov website, because it's got all of the latest and greatest information. And so I want to help familiarize you all with our website, because there's just so much great content there and avenues to get you to wherever you're looking to go with your business. So for those of you who are just starting, maybe you've got an idea, maybe you've got scribbles on a napkin, maybe you've actually gone through the exercise of writing a business plan down on paper. But I want to draw your attention here to SBA.gov and our business guide. So if you are just getting started, or maybe you just want to, you know, you've started already, but you're looking to, you know, see what other areas you might be able to grow in. So if you're brand new, come to our online business guide. It's available 24/7, so on your schedule. If you are don't know where to even start, go to our 10 steps guide, 10 steps to start your business, and you can go through these steps here, click on the learn more tabs, you know, whether or not you want to get started on writing your business plan, whether you want to learn about the different funding options that are out there and which one might be suitable to your business. Important considerations for picking a location. If a brick and mortar location is in store for you, in store for you. I'm here all night, folks. Okay, a lot of people who are just getting started have a lot to learn about different business structures. So I've heard these terms like sole proprietor, LLC, corporation, partnership. What do they mean, and which one is going to be the best for me? Which one is going to protect me personally from, draw that line between me personally and the business for liability's sake? So there's a lot to learn there too. So this is a great place to start learning about those differences. A business name, what's in a name? If you're gonna incorporate, then you want to make sure that your name is going to be protected, that you're not infringing on anyone else's name. And a name is not just what you register with the Indiana Secretary of State with. You also want to think about your web domain. So there's even a lot that goes into that. But if you break this down piece by piece, step by step, don't feel like you need to get this all down at once. But these are some steps that you can take just to start the process. Because a lot of times that's the hardest part, is just getting started, getting that momentum going. So once you've been through the first 6 steps, then you want to consider registering your business. Now, if you're a sole proprietor, filling out your taxes, reporting that business income on your personal income taxes on your Schedule C, you may or may not want to register as an LLC, but there are a lot of benefits to registering with the Secretary of State as an LLC, corporation, partnership. If you want to open a business bank account, a lot of times they are going to want to see your LLC registered and then your federal tax ID number. In addition to helping you open a business bank account, a federal EIN, employer identification number, helps provide a layer of protection for you personally and your social security number. So those are some of the things that you can start thinking about if you're just getting started. Depending on your industry and your location, there might be some licenses or permits that you need to obtain in order to do business and remain in compliance with the authorities that put those licenses and permits out there. So that's a very important step as well. And I already kind of talked about opening a business bank account. Great idea to keep that layer of separation so that come tax time, it's much easier for you. It helps you stay organized. It helps you plan. And so having that business bank account in a separate location from your personal funds is a really important step. So those are the first 10 steps that, there might be some other steps in there that are involved too, depending on your situation, but that's a good place to start anyway. But if you go back to our business guide, you can see all of these different topics on planning your business, and you can take a deeper dive into each one if you want to calculate your startup costs, if you want to start establishing your business credit for loan purposes. There's a lot of great content here. If you want to launch your business, some of the things that are already included in the 10 steps, but some additional things too, like, are you going to need business insurance? Chances are likely. So even when you've been in business and you're just working on the operational side and managing your business, working on your sales plan, cybersecurity is a big issue these days, right? How can we protect our business, especially if we have customer data that's in our possession? We want to protect that. And so, in the world we live in, that's another important topic that you want to think about, and how you can protect your business and your clients. All different topics here, so I'm not going to harp on each one, but a lot of great content that's kind of like blog style format here in our business guide. Now, we also have a learning platform here, which is more like self-paced online courses. So, you can click here on the Learning Center and find different topics that interest you, that kind of go more in depth to the blog posts that I pointed out earlier. We have what we call the Ascent Platform, which is specifically designed for women-owned businesses because they're, obviously men can use it too, but there might be additional considerations for women business owners that you might find helpful topics on here in the Ascent Platform. We do have a Boots to Business program. We just had one here in Indianapolis for our veteran-owned and military spouse-owned small businesses, a special boot camp, if you will, for those business owners. And if you have already started and you've built up some income, you've been going for a few years, and you're just ready to take it to the next level, we have a free, kind of like what we refer to as a streetwise MBA program for small business owners that we call the Emerging Leaders Initiative. So, these are groups of, 10 to 20 small business owners who've built up their revenues, but they're ready to go further, and they're ready to go through this cohort style learning phase to take their business to the next level. So we're always looking for good emerging leaders recruits. Do you know of any? Are you one? Let's see. Okay, so when you've taken the time to go through the online resources, maybe you've talked to your friends or neighbors or other businesses, and you're ready to, maybe you've scratched out the napkin, or ideally you've drafted a business plan, and it doesn't have to be anything grandiose. There are different types of business plans, even there are one-page, digestible business plans like the business canvas model. There are more in-depth, 15, 20-page business plans, but ideally you've given it some thought. You have done your homework, you've put something down on paper, and now you've got questions. And it would just be helpful to talk to someone one-on-one in a confidential setting. And hello, how about for free or taxpayer funded, I guess, specifically. But if you want to get a tax return on your tax dollars, we do have some partners available in Northwest Indiana who can work with you one-on-one. And so if you just put in your business code here, and then you can search for those partners, we've got a handy map here. I happen to know the partners in Northwest Indiana, and they are the Northwest Indiana Small Business Development Center. And I do believe that Lori Felt let me know that she was going to be here this evening. So you might see her as a participant here or in the chat somewhere. But they are hosted by Purdue University Northwest, and they receive SBA funds and state funds and Purdue University Northwest support to provide free one-on-one business counseling to small businesses. So I definitely encourage everyone, whether you're starting or looking to grow or have other questions, to reach out to those counselors in the Small Business Development Center. Now, and I say free counseling, I think most of the services are free. They can also do some specialized services like business valuations. There might be nominal fees associated with those, but for the most part, we're talking about very free or cost-effective business counseling here. Another partner of ours in Northwest Indiana is the SCORE Mentors, and this is another national network of volunteer business mentors. So a lot of the SCORE Mentors have owned their own business, or they have a market specialization. For example, maybe they are a former banker and they do this in their retirement, or maybe they have a marketing background, or maybe they come from manufacturing or a service-based business. So just reach out to these partners, let them know what kind of assistance it is that you are interested in, what you are looking for, so that they can help pair you with the appropriate business counselors. All right. Are we still here? Everybody awake? Getting hungry? Maybe munching on some spaghetti or something as you're listening? Okay. So back to the SBA website. So that is what we call kind of our counseling pillar. So the Small Business Administration has three main pillars: counseling, capital, and contracting. So we've covered the counseling here, but what most people probably know us for is our SBA loan programs. It is one of a few different funding options available through the SBA and through our partners. So SBA loans are actually available through our lending partners. So your banks, your credit unions, and we also have some nonprofit lenders, which I'll talk more about here in a second. But this is kind of the flagship program of the Small Business Administration is our guaranteed loan program. So you might have heard of like an FHA loan for a home or a Veterans Administration, a VA loan for a home, where you still get the loan through the bank, but the government guarantees it for the lender. So, you know, maybe there's something about the deal that doesn't quite check all the lender's boxes. So they come to the government so that we can guarantee it to reduce the risk and extend better repayment terms for the borrower, lower down payments, things of that nature. So it's really win-win. And that is what you might hear referred to as our 7A program. Yeah, let's catch up here. Our 504 loan program, which is specific to real estate or long-term fixed assets like equipment, or our micro loan program. So you might hear a 7A, 504, or micro loan used when talking about SBA loans. So the 7A loans are available through our banks and our credit unions. And you can find those lenders by using our lender match pairing tool. It's a free online pairing tool that you just put in how much funding you're looking for, what the use of proceeds is, things like that. If you don't know the answers to those questions already, talk to the Indiana Small Business Development Center, talk to the SCORE mentors, because those are really important questions to answer on the front end before you sit down and talk to a lender. Now, I also have a list of the SBA lenders in Indiana. If anyone is interested in just looking over the list of SBA lenders and reaching out to them individually, I'm happy to provide that. And we'll make sure you get my contact info so that you can reach out if that's something you're interested in. I did want to draw your attention. So in addition to the banks and the credit unions, we also have a nonprofit mission-based lender in Indiana or in Chicago that covers Indiana called Allies for Community Business. So they were formerly operating under the Ascent name, but they have switched over to Allies for Community Business, and they provide micro loans. So the whole idea is this is kind of like a stepping stone between a business maybe doesn't have the 2-year track record that a lot of banks or credit unions are looking for, or maybe the credit or the collateral isn't quite where the bank or the credit union would like it to be. So this is micro loan is a nice stepping stone. So, if you're thinking big, so our SBA backed loans go up to 5 million, but if you're thinking, up in the million or hundreds of thousands and beyond range, maybe you can piece it down a little bit. What's one piece of equipment that you can buy to get started and show that repayment ability, show that you're, able to cash flow and make those payments and everything like that. So reaching out to a nonprofit micro lender like Allies for Community Business is, a great step on the journey to becoming bankable. And our partners at the SBDC and SCORE can help you assess the different funding options that are out there, and which one might be good for you and your business, and where you're at right now. A lesser known program, one of our capital programs is our investment capital program. So if you've seen Shark Tank, you know that is a little different than loans that you pay back in installments over time. This is where the investor is taking a share of equity in your business in exchange for an infusion of capital. We do have different investment partners that provide that equity financing or that equity injection as opposed to a loan. or even in conjunction with a loan. So, we have a database here that you click on here to investment capital. And what you would need to do is just research those investment firms and understand their priorities and find out if there might be some alignment with what you're trying to accomplish and what they're looking to invest in. So we're still working from home because of this pandemic, and what a lot of you might know us for in the headlines lately is the disaster loan programs. So the only time that SBA is the actual direct lender is in our disaster program. So we have closed applications for the disaster loan program. We're still processing those that were applied for by December 31st, 2021. So we're still processing, but if you need an update, if you're still in the queue waiting or need some assistance on understanding the documentation, feel free to reach out to me and let me know, and I'd be happy to assist you. So this is capital designed to provide operational working capital for businesses just to help them get through this pandemic. So reach out to me if that's a need. Surety bond is another lesser known program of ours. And a lot of times in order to win a contract, a small business is going to need to be bonded. So we have bid, payment, and performance bonds available through surety companies. So sometimes if a small business goes to a surety company to be bonded, they might not, similar to the loans, they might not check all the surety companies' boxes. So SBA again comes in to guarantee that for the surety company so that the small business can get the bond and can win that contract. So notice that I haven't really talked about a lot of free money up until this point. A lot of times when people call SBA for the first time, they want to know, where's the grant money? Like, is there any grant money out there to help me start a business? No, not through the Small Business Administration. We do not give out free money to start or expand a business. It'd be nice. I probably would, quit and try that myself if that were the case. And it's not to say that there aren't other granting organizations out there that provide grants for small businesses. But if you are interested in seeing what the other federal government agencies are offering in terms of grants, you can go to grants.gov. But a lot of times these are going to be pretty specific, but you can search grants.gov. You can even scroll down here to some of the different categories, different search options. So if you go to eligibility, for example, you can click the small businesses box and see what might be available through the different federal agencies. A lot of times this is going to be for really high tech or scientific R&D, something that the federal government has a goal they're trying to accomplish. And so they're looking for that R&D and prototyping work from small businesses, and they will provide that seed money to those types of small businesses. Some other examples of grants that are out there are if you want to export, there are funds available through the state of Indiana that can help you do more business internationally. If you are looking to implement energy efficiency into your business, solar panels or something like that. But these are really specific, often very competitive, and there might be other grant funds out there too that are available through state or local government or private organizations. So spend some time Googling, grants for veteran-owned businesses, grants for minority-owned businesses, grants for XYZ business, and ask around. Again, talk to those resource partners at the Small Business Development Center and SCORE. They might know of some other options that are out there, but in general, there's not free government money out there just to help start or grow a business. It's pretty specific and it's pretty competitive. Okay, so we have covered the counseling pillar of the Small Business Administration, the capital pillar of the Small Business Administration. And now I know that somebody, at least one of our audience members here tonight, was interested in talking about contracting. Contracting is basically government speak for if you want to sell goods or services to the federal government. And did you know that the US government is the largest buyer in the world? So let me say that again. The US government is the largest buyer of goods and services in the world. So if you have a product or a service that could be usable on an enterprise scale, or even if you provide office supplies, janitorial services, lawn care, I mean, there is a lot of opportunity. It's also a lot of work in order to find, qualify for, and win these contracts, but you can do it. And we have a contracting guide here that has a lot of great content to help you just get started in assessing your business and whether or not selling to the government might be a good option for you, what the basic requirements are, where you go to look for and how you win contracts, types of contracts. If it's under a certain threshold, like in the few thousands of dollars range, maybe the SBA needs to buy some pens or something like that. I don't know. I'm just making up an example. A lot of times an agency can just charge that to a credit card. So if you are set up in SAM.gov, System for Award Management, we love acronyms, SAM.gov, as a small business, and you accept government cards, then those even small opportunities can be within reach for you, all the way up to the large contracts that you probably hear a lot of in the defense industry or something like that. But every agency is looking to buy something, so it's worth at least investigating what opportunities might exist for you. And there's even subcontracting options. A lot of times so prime is if you are selling a good or service directly to the federal government, but then sometimes those prime contractors are looking for subcontractors. And we have contracting assistance programs that are specifically designed to help minority and women and service disabled veteran owned small businesses and businesses that are located in what we call HUBZones, historically underutilized business zones, a lot of those around the Northwest Indiana area. If you are that type of business, you can leverage that status, leverage the certification that you're going to apply for and obtain to help the federal government and the prime contractors doing business with the federal government, or even if you end up being a prime contractor yourself, you're going to help the federal government reach our goals of awarding a certain amount of federal dollars every year to those minority, women, service disabled, veteran owned businesses. So our goal is to award 23% of all contracting dollars to small businesses, and our definition of small business, by the way, is pretty liberal. If you're an ice cream manufacturer, you can have over 1,000 employees and still be a small business. If you're a PR agency, it's by revenue. I believe last time I checked, it was 16.5 million in revenue before you're no longer considered a small business, something like that. So you can go to sba.gov/size, but more than likely, if you're not a big business, you're still a small business by our standards. So if you're a small business, you can get some priority points there. If you're a minority business, women-owned business, service disabled veteran, that adds additional opportunity for you to leverage to win contracts. So basically, if it comes down to a non-certified business and a, let's say, woman-owned small business, and they have the same capabilities, but the women-owned small business is certified, the government contracting officer is going to go with that women-owned small business, all things considered, because that certification is helping us meet our goals. And actually, the administration has just increased the goals for small disadvantaged businesses, which basically means minority or under a certain income threshold, has just increased that from 5 to, I think it's 11% or something like that. So 10%, there we go. 10% of all contracting dollars to those minority and socially and economically disadvantaged businesses. So I hope that helps at least give a primer on what federal contracting is. You're going to receive an evaluation after this presentation that invites you to check boxes of these different topics. So, tonight's session is just an overview, but if you want to dive deeper into any of these topics, you're going to be able to indicate that on the evaluation. So please fill that out. We do have some counseling assistance available as well, similar to the Small Business Development Center and SCORE mentors. So let me just pull up the Indiana PTAC Procurement Technical Assistance Center is another great resource specifically for the government contracting. So free business counseling specific to if you want to sell a good or service to the federal government. So you can click on Northwest Indiana and find your local PTAC counselor. So I think that is SBA in a nutshell. We've covered counseling, capital, and contracting. So I am one agency within the federal government, and our mission is obviously specifically tailored to small businesses. But there are other agencies out there that might have programs that would be of interest to small businesses. So I encourage you to go to USA.gov. You can scroll down here. Follow me to the small business section, click on that. There's a great keyword search here, so click on that. And let's see, what do we want to find out what the federal government has across different agencies? Let's say I'm a veteran, so I'm going to put in veteran and click the search bar, and it's automatically going to generate different veteran business programs from across the federal government. Whether it's VA, Defense, Small Business Administration, other areas. Okay, let's check out minority business options. Oh my goodness, the Minority Business Development Agency, which has permanently, as you can see, been authorized in the infrastructure deal. So there's going to be a lot of exciting information coming out about that. So maybe you just want to scroll down through here and see what kind of information is out there for minority businesses. Maybe it's something like exporting, census resources, SBA resources, Export-Import Bank resources, Department of Commerce resources. They have counselors that are experts in different international markets. So, whether it's with the Small Business Administration or one of the other federal departments, there's a lot of great info here to help small businesses as well. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So again, I'm with the Indiana District Office, and hopefully I'll be able to visit again soon once we start getting back to whatever the new normal is. But my contact info here, maybe we can drop this in the chat as well, but we'll just make a note. Feel free to reach out to me, to any of my teammates here at the Indiana District Office anytime you think I can be helpful. Please don't be shy. And with that, I think I will turn it back over to Amanda. I'm not sure if we've had any questions come in.
Yes, thanks so much, Lindsay. That was very helpful. Wonderful presentation. We have a couple folks commented that they would like that list of lenders. And then we also have a question. If I go to one of the local resources, for example, SCORE, will they be able to help me establish a service disabled veteran-owned small business, or SDVOSB?
Yeah, they can absolutely help you. So the SBDC and SCORE are always great to talk to you about your business needs. The Indiana Procurement Technical Assistance Center, I think I'm still screen sharing, PTAC for short, indianaptac.com, specializes in counseling for government contracting. So they are kind of specialists when it comes to doing business with different government agencies and those certifications. So you can certainly reach out to Diana here. You can reach out to me, since that particular program, the Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Small Business Certification, is an SBA program, you're welcome to reach out to me as well if you have any questions on that. Since the lender list was mentioned, I want to see if I can just pull up our, this is a resource that has been provided to CURE, and I believe that they will be sharing, but it's our small business resource guide. So usually this is a physical, paper guide that we put out every year. We haven't for a couple of years with COVID, but it's a PDF also. And if you just, go to page 31, there we go. I know it's really small and you probably can't see it on the screen, but we have our list of SBA lenders. So feel free to reach out to me for a list of that, but I believe CURE will also be sharing this resource guide that you can flip through and find those lenders listed there as well.
Yes, Lindsay, you did share that with me. So we will be sharing that out in our post-session email for the folks who are on our Zoom list right now, or on Zoom with us right now who registered. You'll get that resource in the email that will come after this session. And we have another question. Is there a chart of all the certifications?
Okay, so a good, I don't know if it's a chart per se, but if you go to SBA.gov, hover over federal contracting and go to click on contracting assistance programs, this kind of provides a list, I suppose, of all of the different certifications that are available on the federal level for small businesses. Now, keep in mind, there are also state contracts and they have their own certification. So unfortunately, federal and state don't talk and they are not reciprocal. So if you are interested in doing business with the state of Indiana or different state agents, different state of Ohio or wherever, then they have their own certifications. So for Indiana, it's the Indiana Department of Administration. So you can go to in.gov/IDOA/MWBE to their Division of Supplier Diversity to learn more about their certification. They also have one for veterans through this same department. So the state has their certifications, the federal government has our certifications, and you would need both if you want to do business with both levels of government. I'm not sure how it is locally. Diana at the PTAC would probably be a better person to ask, but some local governments recognize the state certification. Like I know the city of Evansville, for example, recognizes the Indiana Department of Administration's MWBE certification for local government contracting purposes. So that might be something to look into if you're looking to do business with a local government entity.
Lori Felt also has comments in to follow up with that in the chat. She says that Indiana Small Business Center Development Center now has specifically has a specialty advisor working on certification advising because they get so many questions regarding that. And she says that you can go to www.isbdc.org to request assistance.
Great. Thank you so much, Lori. I really appreciate you being here and providing that extra flavor. I think that is so wonderful that you have another person focusing on the certifications.
And another question, who are the community navigators for Indiana?
Community navigators. Oh, great question. So I mentioned about grants, and we don't give grants directly to small businesses to start or expand, but we do have some grant programs that are specifically for like nonprofits and entrepreneurial service organizations, service providers, things like that. So it's a pilot program that is new with this new administration, and it's a competitive grant process. And we had two in Indiana who were awarded pilot grants for the community navigators. And and they are the Northeast Indiana Innovation Center in Fort Wayne. They're the hub. So Community Navigators is a hub and spoke model. And the whole idea is to get more collaboration going, more community grassroots organization going when it comes to entrepreneurial development. So that organization, the Northeast Indiana Innovation Center, is the hub. And then they've got some spokes to help them implement it, like SCORE is a spoke. There's also another awardee in Indiana, the West Central Indiana Small Business Development Center. They're the hub, and they were awarded a Community Navigators pilot program grant. And so it's really cool because I think there were only 51 grants awarded across the entire country for this pilot year, and Indiana got 2. So way to go, Indiana. So it's a new program, and if you're, I know that Northwest Indiana doesn't have a specific community navigator, but it's always something to keep in mind for the future. If you're a community organization who's interested in applying for grant funding to kind of support your entrepreneurs in your region.
Are there plans for Boots to Business in Northwest Indiana?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, because I should have mentioned the Veterans Business Outreach Center when I was talking about the other partners. So we do have a Veterans Business Outreach Center located in Flint, Michigan, that also covers Indiana, and they specialize in providing free business counseling for veteran-owned small businesses, military spouse-owned small businesses, and they are called VetBiz Central. So you can go to vetbizcentral.org and check out their upcoming events and webinar trainings. So it's Boost to Business specifically isn't one that we offer regularly. So since we just did it in December, we might not be doing it again for a few months. But you can look at VetBiz Central's I know they have a lot of free webinars coming up. Look, here's one coming up on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Not sure if that's Central or Eastern, but about introduction to the Veterans Administration and General Services Administration. So if you're in that contracting mindset, that would be a good one for you to attend. There's another one coming up in a couple days, Operation Entrepreneur Business Startup Workshop, preparing for financing. So even though Boots to Business, I'm not sure when the next one will be, there are other webinar trainings coming up, and Abron is the head of the Veterans Business Outreach Center. He's a great guy. So, if you're a veteran-owned small business, I definitely encourage you to get to know Abron.
Who can you contact about applying to become a community navigator in Northwest Indiana?
Okay, that's a really good question. So federal grants, it depends, but generally speaking, federal grants are, there's a call for applications and a window, and then that call for applications window closes, and then, we go through all the applications and pick the winners. So it hasn't been announced, since we just announced the winners of the first round. Hasn't been announced when applications will again be accepted for any subsequent rounds of community navigators. But if that is something that you are interested in, I recommend that you go to grants.gov and just kind of keep tabs on, find those grants. This is where you can find all the federal grant opportunities. The Cure, Amanda's also going to be sending out a link to encourage you to register for the SBA newsletter. So we will also be putting out opportunities like applying for community navigators the next time that the application round is open.
What is the process to receive a contract as a business counselor or service provider with the SBA?
Okay, so I think the question was if you want to become a partner with the SBA and you want to, so Lori would actually probably be a better person to answer this question, but I think if we go back here, let me get my head on straight. Funding programs. Grants, scroll down, grants for community organizations. You want to click on that. So, we have our long-standing relationships like the ones that we have with SCORE, with the Small Business Development Center. We call them our resource partners. We give them grants, not contracts, but grants. It's got a special legal name, what the partnership is called, but I can't remember. But so those are pretty specific. I don't know, but if there's another area that you're interested in learning about, or if you just want to have a one-on-one conversation with me, maybe get some more context on from the person who's asking that question on what you might be interested in, I can try to help guide you if I have some more specific information. But this is where you would start anyway to learn about those opportunities with the SBA.
Thank you so much, Lindsay, for your time. Thank you everyone for joining us. This has been a very informative evening. And we've got a few thank yous to you, Lindsay, in the chat. And we appreciate everyone for coming out and taking the time with us.